call this meeting to order. All right, Jen, I have a motion to approve the minutes from May 23rd.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes passed. So moving on to the 100 series, policy review. I don't think there's a lot of changes. I don't, Matt, do you have any comments about the changes to the bullying policy, for instance?
Yeah, so the ones highlighted in blue are some suggested changes. The long-range needs assessment for 103 really just tries to clean up the language around CSIP that was removed this last legislative session, Comprehensive School Improvement Plan. And so we'll still do a long-range needs assessment. We'll still do it through the SIAC committee, but we tried to clean up the language there. The anti-bullying, anti-harassment policies talk about some of the new changes, through the last legislative session, and some of that's to do with the 24-hour notification period that needs to go to parents, and then also clarifies that, of course, if teachers witness and report something, that they could also inform parents. The Say Something campaign, that's a cleanup on some language and contact information. And then the service animals and therapy animals, I believe the same, unless the team says I'm missing something substantive there. I think it's simply switching some titles about who the appropriate contact is for the service and therapy animal requests. And Kim, am I correct that those bullying harassment ones are actually in those primers that we have them looking
Yes.
at during the board meeting? So you're reviewing them here, but they're also a part of that package for the primers on the regular meeting tonight that we're asking you to approve to be in compliance for tomorrow.
I'm still loading mine, but can I just ask a general question? I remember seeing a bunch of deletions of this goes to HR or HR or the civil or the
It's equity employer
equity.
relations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And is that just something that we're just why is that change happening? Just does it make sense?
It's basically because Eric's going to be the one that
Yeah.
deals with those requests and
Streamlining it.
accommodations. Yep.
Okay. I just noticed that was a consistent change. So I was wondering.
Yep.
It makes sense to me.
Matt, the only other one of note might be the LGBTQ guideline. That one's out for review. Laura is looking at that. That's going to be totally revised.
Yeah, what's the number? That's
It's 102 G1. Yeah.
G1. So you may have noticed that we pulled that down from the site as well, and so we're trying to make that compliant with the new laws there with our LGBTQ plus guidelines. So thanks for mentioning that too, Kim. So we don't have a proposal for you to look at this time on that one, but that is one that we've pulled down in the interim.
I did have one question about the complaint process. I think we discussed this maybe last spring, how we sort of talked about having a drop-down menu on the website because we've changed around some of our complaint processes and we've added an additional complaint. I don't know, are we still planning on doing that or where are we at with that?
I believe we are.
Okay.
We're transitioning to a new website platform this fall.
Okay.
So Kristen has that in the process to be built into the new site. I will check with her just to kind of see timeline on that since we're starting, and if there's going to be some kind of a significant lag there, we might want to go ahead and put it on the current platform. But I know she had it in the notes to construct for this new platform.
No, okay. Because there wasn't much to question about on this one.
Well, that's it.
The only thing I might just put on the board's radar, and we could talk about this during agenda setting at the other one, is maybe the appropriate place to have a cell phone conversation throughout the year this year. You guys saw my note that, we ended the school year with, and then the one to come back here to start the school year too. And so if we wanted to take a longer comprehensive look at that, you might want to just think about where that lives. Since it could end up in a policy, it could be P&G I had mentioned that to Director Finch, but that may also not be the right place. Maybe you guys want to work session it with the full board a couple different times too. So I just mention it here, but I'll make sure that, we mention it to everybody as well. And again, you guys have heard me talk about this one. I don't know what the right fit is, but I also don't ever want us to get into a situation where we rush into it, in a rash way. And so if we knew that, hey, we were thinking about next fall for something different, that would give us really a 12-month window to slow down and plan and look at what other districts are doing, get input from different groups. I just think it's probably an issue that's not going to go away, right? So just something to think about, nothing to do with tonight. But.
I think the work session sounds like a good idea.
Could I ask, Jane, we had come to some kind of agreement, I think, about having a policy for K through 6, and a different policy for...
Yeah, and we do. So in the elementary handbooks, you have a consistent one for elementary, and then the themes are consistent for secondary. Now, some of the day-to-day implementation of that looks different, but there's baseline expectations that are consistent for secondary. But on their handbooks portion of the webpage, you would find those cell phone policies within each of the handbooks. I emailed back a parent here just today that had a question about that following up from my message. So we have some consistency. I think that the question would be, would we want to look at doing something more extreme in a sense, right? I think they just continue to get in the way of all of those things outlined in the message. And so is there something we'd want to tighten up more? Again, enforcement, consistency, challenges on that. There's problems on both sides for sure. But it's just something if the board wants to, re-engage in that conversation, that's probably something I just think we should have on our long-term radar for multiple conversations because it won't get done in one.
So you're,
Are you referring to 7 through 12 or K through 6? Are we looking at...
Well, I think we'd want to consider both and then see if we're happy with, maybe we're happy with K6, not 7, 12, or vice versa. I'm not trying to make a value judgment about either of those right now. It seems like we hit times of year where people get really upset about it, and that's not the right time to look at it, right? And so just trying to be planful would be, if it's something you're going to want to do, then I'm just saying, I think from my perspective, the advice would be it's got to be a long-range conversation.
so you're saying, you're bringing that up right now because we're thinking about whether we would have it be a work session for P&G.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, I think you want to think about what the right forum for that is. Do you want to do it in multiple work sessions? Would you want to put it to a committee? Like I said, it could get rooted in a board policy. So
Right.
one of my thoughts was P&G, but maybe that's not the right place because we'd want the whole board involved. And so then you would want to go to work sessions because P&G is really not a committee of the whole.
Okay.
So
So I think we should get that started. I think we should get it, take a look on the calendar to get it going.
I agree with Mary Kate, because I think it's not one meeting. Like, I'm gonna wanna hear the teacher perspective.
Yep.
I'm gonna wanna hear the building administrator perspective of who then enforces consequences and punishments and what their obstacles and challenges are, and, what they see as the solution. Like, that, I really wanna know what the buildings think are the solution to this, or where we can improve. And then I think somehow solicit information or feedback from parents, like, the challenges that they see in not having their kid have their cell phone or what. And I don't know what the best way to do. I don't know if we reach out to DPO and ask them to start pushing it out to the PTOs and get feedback, and maybe DPO can come and talk to us about what the parent perspective is. But I mean, it just seems like
there could be
a lot of stuff. I want to get a lot of feedback
multiple
before we,
perspectives.
before I go with my personal gut feeling.
Because I do think you'd hear different things from the different groups, right? The teachers are going to have some concerns, the administrators are going to have concerns that are probably unique to the teachers, parents are going to have concerns, and they're going to conflict, right? I mean, that's the thing I'd want you going into eyes wide open to. There's not going to be an easy solution to it. But if you want to spend some time on it, now's the right time to start thinking about it.
We spend a whole year collecting data and opinions and thinking.
And having time to talk about it and meet, and engage some folks in between and come back with some informed thoughts, so.
I think it's
Parents
a,
are really looking at it,
I think it's a top priority for everybody, even though it might be top priority for different reasons. I think we do have to do a concerted dive into it.
And even if you wouldn't want to use the like PNG format, it might make sense from like a meeting slot standpoint, since these meetings are relatively short. Now, you'd only have a half hour to work with, but you could schedule PNG at 5 and then the work session immediately following, right? And so then you could move into that. So it wouldn't live in PNG, but you'd have some time without scheduling another meeting for all you guys, right? Because trying to fit in regular work sessions gets a little bit difficult, knowing we're gonna have other things that we want to do in work session as well. So that could be a consideration too. At least you have this Tuesday always there, so.
If you guys need copies of them earlier, I've got them all right here.
There you go.
Of the policies?
Start previewing, yeah.
So I looked at one, the Green Gold School, happy to see that. It looks like they're saying staff can take phones from kids. This is true, is that right?
I think it said may confiscate. I think
May
is
come,
what-
because I know in the past, we always said, no, don't do it because
Power struggle.
power struggle, the phone gets, you put it on your desk, somebody else takes it, et cetera. So that's been a change and that's,
Yeah, most of the ones, I don't think they ever say they will. I think they say they may confiscate. And
yes,
then if the
may.
student refuses to turn it over, then there would be a different
so you
action
just
if they
say,
don't
well,
like-
you need
Yeah.
to give me your phone, and they say, no.
That's what we could always do.
Well, yeah.
We're gonna take care of it. I'm not gonna
Right.
ask you for it, but we'll follow up.
And I think that approach has come back a little bit because buildings have also tried to clearly restate the expectations to kids,
Mhm.
consistent language at the beginning of periods or throughout the day, so that if
Right.
a staff member comes up, it's not like out of the blue, they just got
Right.
frustrated and went to try to take the phone.
Right.
Right, so we've taught the expectation, we've said it, second or third warning, then,
Right,
so it's not as much of a
gotcha.
tearing their left arm off, when they go to get the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we'll try to sketch some things out and then see, our team will need some, lead time to decide how to open the conversation with you and then kind of think about some ways we could suggest, multiple forms of feedback in those different stakeholder groups.
Our next meeting is September 26th.
We'll do the 200s. Yep.
And so that is also, that's where the ethics, the board ethics comes into play. So we'll have that ready for that meeting. So we can incorporate a code of ethics into